Hello and welcome back to the channel. For today's video we're going to be making this lovely slit dress that is just perfect for spring and summer. Now to make this dress you're going to need your pattern pieces, of course, that you will get from my Etsy store or have gotten from my Etsy store. Do not mind my pieces, they do not have any markings, but your pieces will. The most important marking that you need to note is the marking that is going to be on your front piece that indicates where you need to cut for your lining piece, because we're not going to be lining the entire piece. Now we are going to be using 4-way stretch fabric. My fabric is bonbon. It is 95% polyester and 5% elastin. You are going to need 1.5 meters of fabric to complete this whole dress. Now we're going to start off with our straps. We are making 4 straps, and how we are making our straps is the basic way. There's nothing special about our straps. One thing to note is that if you do not have a serger, you can use your zigzag stitch. Everything will be, well, the process will be kind of the same. I'll walk you through everything, but I am using a serger. Now I'm going to be turning my straps inside out, and when I'm done turning my straps inside out, I am going to set them aside and start working on the front piece of my dress. Now I'm gonna grab my front piece, the main front piece of my fabric. I am going to be grabbing it, making sure that my right side is facing up, meaning that it is facing me. Then I'm going to place my 2 straps. Now remember, I told you about that line that you're going to see on your pattern that indicates where you need to cut that lining piece. Okay, cut the lining piece from your pattern, then cut it on your fabric. Then what you want to do is you want to place that lining piece right side facing down, meaning that your 2 pieces are right sides together with your straps sandwiched in between. You're going to place them like that. Then you are going to pin your top seam, pin your armholes, and you are going to stitch the top and the armhole seams. If you are using a serger, make sure that you are using your basting stitch first before going to the serger, because everything can be quite intense and we don't want any mistakes, right? If you are using your zigzag stitch, all you need to do is to just use your zigzag stitch and then cut off the excess seam allowance. Oh, and another thing I forgot to mention is your pattern pieces do not come with a seam allowance. You will have to add your own, which is written on your PDF pattern. Now here's our front piece. It's looking lovely, it's looking nice and neat. We're gonna set that aside and work on our back pieces. Now for our back pieces, you are going to need 2 pieces. Then you are going to put them right sides together, sandwich the straps in between. Then you're going to stitch the top seam, then take the leftover straps, stuff them inside the top, and then stitch the bottom seam. You don't want to stitch your straps when you are stitching the bottom seam. So here we go, sandwich your straps in between, then stitch that top seam, push your straps inside, stitch the bottom seam. And voila, this is what the piece looks like. Now you're going to use any one of your open side seams to turn the piece inside out. That piece is complete for now. Let's set it aside and work on our back piece. For your back piece, you are going to need an elastic band that's 3.5 centimeters wide. Then what you want to do is you want the wrong side of your fabric to be facing up, to be facing towards you. Measure how much elastic band you are going to need. I would suggest making your elastic band maybe at the most 1 centimeter smaller than what you need, and then you want to stretch it out a little as you sew it, or you can just cut exactly what you need. Because it's such a nice and thick elastic, it will fit nice and snug. So what you want to do is just stitch it on that top seam. If you are using a serger, do not cut off any excess. You just want to attach that waistband at the top seam just like that, and then we are going to fold it in once and then set it aside for now. Now what you're going to do is you're going to take your back piece that has been turned the right sides out, then you are going to align it to your front piece, making sure that you are sandwiching that back piece inside your front piece and that your front lining is covering the back piece, right? So basically it's just sandwiched in between, and then you're going to line all the seams up at the side seams and then pin them. You are then going to grab your back piece, fold it in once, making sure that the right side of the fabric is sitting comfortably together with the right side of the front piece. Remember, right sides together for this part, and then you are going to pin that back piece at the side seams with the front piece. Gosh, English is so hard today. I'm so sorry, but you guys get the drill. What we're doing is we're just pinning everything at the side seams, making sure that our back piece and our front piece are right sides together. As you are pinning, you are going to notice that there's a little bit of overlapping with the front lining piece. That's okay. Now here's the thing that I forgot to do, which was to serge my front piece at that bottom seam. You don't have to do this, but you can definitely go ahead and do that if you want a very professional finish. So I went over to my serger, quickly serged it. Now I'm going to sew that side seam all the way down. We are starting with the side seam that does not have a slit. That is the side seam we're going to start with. So just go over to your serger, stitch it all the way down, and we're good for now. Now let's move on to the part that has the slit. So what you're going to do is obviously flip your dress over, and then you are going to make a marking of where your slit is begins. When you get the pattern, it will already be marked for you where the slit begins, so you do not have to worry about that. However, above your slit, you are going to maybe go 2 centimeters above your slit and then make another marking. This marking is to indicate where we're going to stop serging. So what you're going to do is then you are going to open up those 2 pieces, and then you are going to serge each side of those pieces all the way up to where you made your new marking. So serge all the way down from that marking all the way to the hem. Remember, you're doing this for both sides of your dress. So here is my piece serged. Here are the 2 pieces serged. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to repin everything where it needs to be, and I'm going to make a marking of where that slit begins again, right? So make sure that you pin your side seams together and everything is perfectly lined up like you normally would. So now here is something that you need to note, right? Where you made your marking, where you cut that notch where it was indicating where you wanted to stop serging, you're going to take one of your pieces and you're going to fold them from that mark. Just fold them in, and then you're going to stitch going all the way down. This is going to help your slit lay flat when you are done with everything, right? So I'm going to give you guys a close-up look to see what it looks like. This is what it should look like. So just go ahead and fold it in, and then you're going to stitch going all the way down to make sure that everything is laying nice and flat. And this is how you would do it on your serger if you are using a serger. So voila, here's the piece. So you will notice that one of the pieces look like they are a little bit bigger than the other. It's okay. This is what's going to help it lay flat when you serge, when you start working on your slit. So just sew it exactly how I showed you to do it. It's very hard to explain it with words, but you guys can see in the video how everything should look like. Now what you are going to do is you are going to turn your dress inside out. Then what you're going to do is you're going to fold your slit. Fold that slit and then go ahead and stitch it down using a straight stitch. You can also use a twin needle for this part, but usually for the slit I just use a straight stitch, and then I stitch everything down. When you're done using your straight stitch to stitch your slit down, you are going to start working on your hem. Now to work on your hem is pretty simple. You're just going to fold it in once. After folding it in once, you are going to need to use a twin needle to stitch it down, or you can use a zigzag. Now a twin needle is going to give you that beautiful professional finish that you get from the stores, but if you don't have a twin needle, just go ahead and use your zigzag stitch. But I recommend that you invest in getting one if you're going to be working with stretch fabrics a lot. You are going to need it because it helps with the hemming part. So go ahead and go to your sewing machine and stitch it down. Now with the twin needle, you're going to have those two lines. And yeah, anyway, that is the end of the tutorial. Hopefully you guys found that helpful. Do not forget to share a picture